Hello everyone, welcome to another Green Dragons Gaming Club. Without us, they never feel like winners. Without them, we couldn't look so good. So again, we're based out of Westchester, Pennsylvania. If you're in Northeast Maryland, Delaware, South Jersey, Philadelphia, Harrisburg, Allentown, do me a favor, reach out to us. We're just a good local gaming group. We're always looking for like-minded individuals. It's more important to be able to have fun and play with our get-together, play with our toy soldiers than anything else. With that said, I went out to Battle Cry, which is over in Baltimore, and it was actually ran by a friend of mine, and I can't say enough. I had such a good time, such a blast. The people there, first off, they're top-notch players that were attending. There were people who were part of Team USA ETC. There was Warhammer Gaming in the Balcony. There was my own club, and there was there were a bunch of others, but I can't say enough. I mean, I'm really impressed and happy about the Ninth Age community and how welcoming, how easygoing, how friendly everyone is. Even the one time where it's like I had an issue with someone at this tournament, it's because I couldn't hear the guy and he wasn't understanding fully my own question, and it was just like afterwards I'm like, I'm real sorry. I didn't understand. And he's like, no worries. And we went out, we had a drink. We had had a glass of rum, but I offered beer, but he said, I got something better than that. But that's what it was like. And it was such a good time. I can't say enough. The people there were fantastic. Chris, thank you for running it. I mean, people include Once Bitten, Tuna Sandwichify, myself, Eggs PR and his whole gang. It's just great guys. So here we are. It's Battle Cry Baltimore 2015. And this time, this is Game 5, Table 2. Joel F. versus myself. Sir MC 2015. My name is Mark. That's my Ninth Age up on the forums. And it's Kingdom of Equitaine versus Dwarven Holds. And Equitaine, from that company that shall not be named, was my first army, my first love of the game, my first passion of the game. And I'm going to show you his list. Before I say anything else, I want to show you his list. There's not a single knight. What's wrong with this picture? He put together a great list, but it's Equitaine. Where the heck's the cavalry? This is a strong list. It's a good list. Once Bitten had an issue with this list. Actually, just about everybody had an issue with this list. He only had one loss, and that was from the player who I lost against, the demon player, because, again, that Bloodthirster just eats everything. And yeah, I mean, that's it. It was just like, oh my god. He's got 220 peasants in this list, he told me. He's got 2 trebuchets. I really don't care about the dukes, but 220 peasants. I'm still having a headache just wrapping my head around this. Walking back, so before this game, a group of us went out to my vehicle. We had a beer. And before we did that, my last opponent, Phil, turns to me and goes, yeah, you're probably going to get stuck with that Equitaine list. Yeah, okay, I can deal with it. It's like, no, you can't. I'm like, what do you mean I can't? It's like, it's all peasants. I'm like, oh, no, I'll turn around. It's like, no, Mark, you don't understand. It's all peasants. There's over 200 peasants. You should just offer him 10-10 tie and walk away. So walking in after having a beer with him, I'm like, so Joel, 10-10 walk away? He's like, no, let's go play. Because he thought he was going to beat the living piss out of me. He did. And I don't blame him for 200 peasants. Oh my god. And to top it all off, they all had the blessing. He had 2 trebuchets, and the reliquaries gave the blessing. So here's my list. Feel free to always pause it and look at it. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, always feel free to make the comment. Here's deployment. So this is after placing scouts, but before vanguarding. Now, it is breakthrough scenario, classic deployment, so it's 12-inch deployment. We started placing. He had roughly 4 drops left. I place the rest of my army for first turn. Here's my game plan. Is had he dropped everything and said going to go first, I was going to back up and then march forward. But because I was able to get first turn, I'm picturing taking my unit on, because they're going to vanguard the unit on the right there. They're going to vanguard up 12 inches, and then I'm going to be able to start rounding that corner of the flank. Now, if you look on the other flank, I have my unit of spears and the deep watch in the center. So my thought process there is I'm going to push up with the deep watch and the vengeance seekers. And if you also notice, my deep watch is not in their standard formation, being 7 wide. I actually hoarded them out for this because he's in horde formation across from me. So I figure he's going to want to focus in on the deep watch, and the deep watch can hold their own and stay there and never move. And meanwhile, I was going to get the spears in the flank, start breaking their steadfast, and start marching down the line. That was my thought process. Let's see how it turns out. 200. Look at that. It's 200 peasants. Oh, dear God. Somewhere out there, villages are missing their little toys. They're on this table right now. So I push up with everything I have, and I'm looking at the battlefield. Not all. Oh, and also up in the upper left, I actually have that's where my unit of rangers moved up to. They started 18 inches. Now they're 9 inches away from the trebuchet that's up there, which is actually being used as a mortar. Again, push up as described. This is the end of his movement. So he pushes up as so. And if you see the little red gems, I should have 4 red gems on the board. They represent my hatreds. I always mark my units now, so this way I'll always remember who has hatred and who doesn't. And he did that. He really wasn't concerned with the unit of 10 warriors. He was just kind of boxing out. And remember, it's breakthrough. I have to stop him from getting across the board. I've got two bricks. That's it. I'm keeping my 10-man unit of warriors all the way out there in the woods so that it negates his steadfast. Because if he charges me, I win combat for any reason. It's like, woohoo, victory. Can't try to run him down. Again, that field there is actually not a field, it's a ruin. If you look back there, it's easier to take it off and use the field underneath it for placing your troops. Oh my God. So during my turn, I turn around, I charge in with Junior, and I charge in with the Deep Watch. I tried to get in there with the spears, but they failed their charge. I charged into the flank of the unit with the 10-man unit warriors, and that's it. Junior just was too far away for me to really declare that charge. He tries chaffing me up or getting after me with the one Pegasus Knight against my my skirmish. My Rangers are all the way on the far side. So I'm in horde formation. I've got Junior. I've got a King. My BSB is not in the spears this game. It's in my unit of Deep Watch. I've got my Runic Smith and 19 Deep Watch. He does maybe 1-2 wounds tops to that unit. Wrong way. I break that unit. I have Swift Stride. Everything overruns. And now I'm past his line of sight. So let me go back. Because those two there are kind of in like bus formation. I'm past his line of sight now. And I'm into his bunker with his general and his mage. One mistake I made there is during those combats, I never had any attacks go against the mage. I just had everything go against the unit, and that comes back to bite me later on. But I'm in that unit now, and let's see. There's that. There's that. I'm going the wrong way. I'm sorry. So I end up killing that unit, letting them run away. I do a combat reform. Junior goes into that other unit over there, which I didn't even realize they're in the woods. He moved his Pegasi up just close enough that the one unit, the one organ gun that didn't have flaming had 30 inches to him. I shot his Duke off the board. Do I still have that? Yep. So with where that Duke is, he put him there so that everything could use his leadership since his other character was gone. But the issue is now it's in range of the organ gun. Organ gun shoots him off. Rangers are going to go in and eat that trebuchet. And that's exactly what happens. So there's that. Junior turns around, wins that combat. They're only leadership 5. He rolled a 6. Junior turns around, runs down those that unit of infantry. The Rangers make short work of that trebuchet. The other trebuchet did misfire. He missed with both trebuchets. The first trebuchet actually misfired for a turn. And let's see. I think that's all she wrote at this point. I'm trying to remember if he charges into me or not. He doesn't charge. No. Does he charge? I can't remember. So he turns around. He goes in bus formation to try. Oh, let me go back. So meanwhile, Junior gets into that flank, and he positioned his Duke his Paladin so he could go into the Warriors there. So meanwhile, between the Great Warriors with weapons, Junior on the side, I'm eating that one unit up that's on the hill up there. And I'm just, I don't know, I'm picking my shots. So over there, I'm still meat grinding it away. So I finally get into combat over here. He charges into the rear of the Great Weapon guys. He eats the Great Weapon guys. Junior doesn't care, but they've done their damage. So in this picture, you really see what happens. So they broke and ran. They didn't die from him hitting them. He broke and ran, and he pursued them with the Paladin. And he's like, okay, and this unit's going to go after Junior. I'm like, Junior's unbreakable. That Seeker's not going anywhere. And he goes, ah, crap. So his Paladin moved 11 inches, caught, ran them down. This was my time to try to kill that unit because they're too far away. Or actually, I think they end up being in because he does a reform. And if you notice in the rear of that one big bus, and this really changed the game. Let me go back a few picks. So what he does here is he does 2 reforms to face me because he doesn't have line of sight to me, and that's when you see this. All right, so there's his 2 buses. But if you look at the woods, you see the 10-man unit of warriors barely, and that's a nice juicy rear. So they charge into that rear, okay, pinning that second unit or that other unit of infantry that has the reliquary. His hippogriffs were the reliquary. And let's see here. Turn around. Ate that other unit, caught them with Swift Stride, run into the other unit. My king takes a wound from dangerous terrain, nothing else does. I think I lost one other deep watch. Get in that other unit, and then just begin mulching them down. And that's it. That's the end of the game right there, because they broke, caught them. He's like, you know what? Might as well try to kill your general. He charges in with his Paladin, because that's all he has left on the board. And he's got a wizard actually behind his hand, all the way back there. Charges in with his Paladin, and I issue a challenge to my champion. I mean, he's got a blender kit out. I wasn't really concerned about it, wasn't worried about it, but why risk it? That was it. So a lot of questions been getting posted up is, how the heck did I turn around and manage to defeat that many peasants? And that's how. So let me go back to the key points. So right here, turn around having 19-20 attacks. He kills one. So 19 attacks of Deep Watch. 4 from his mount. 4 from the king. 3 from the BSB. 2 from the Runic Smith, and I forget how many attacks Junior threw into there. Having hatred. Yes, he has a 5-up ward save. I hit him so many times because he's only weapon skill 2. He needs 5s to hit my unit and 5s to wound my unit, and then I get my armor and ward save thereafter. That's how I was able to do it. This is to me truly an elite, a representation of an elite army against a rabble army, against peasants. And he just wasn't, because he was in horde formation, not a bus formation. That's why I was able to do that much damage. Had he been in bus formation, oh, I probably would have held off one more turn, shot that unit up with organ guns instead, and did it that way, and then charged in. But we're talking a completely different game. And then, and how did I? So here I'm in combat with a reliquary. I have my BSB has smashing, so he's strength 10. He's hits all 3 times typically because he has lightning reflexes and wounding on 2s. He's only going to save 2 of those wounds. My general goes in with 8 attacks, needing 4s and 2s to wound. And then I throw an extra couple of deep watch in there. Kills the reliquary, kills his general that turn as well. So it just making sure I chose the right targets. He definitely underestimated the damage output of the Deep Watch. I think a lot of people do. I think that's why I consistently think they're better than hammers any day of the week. I'm only missing that front rank of attacks. Yeah, it's higher strength, but strength 5. AP 1 with a Runic Smith in there. They're going to do damage. And then the other killer point for my opponent was here when he gave me that rear, and he really didn't consider them, I think, a threat, because they're only strength 3, strength 4 in the charge, but they're strength 4, so he's only getting a 6-up armor at that point, and a 6-up ward, not a 5-up ward, and that just kept him there, and he couldn't hit me and wound me. And then Junior just turn around and eventually eats that unit up there on the hill. Just, again, keeps grinding, and actually after this combat is when he breaks them and eats them. And that's it. Joel was a great opponent. This is a poor guy. He had like no voice and everything else. I felt so sorry for him, but he's super nice guy. After this, we walked outside where it was a lot quieter. Had a nice glass of rum, and it was just such a good time. Can't say enough about the guy. Just super great guy. And Dwarven holds 20-0 for me. His Paladin on the Pegasus killed the unit of warriors, which was, I think, the points that he got from me. And his I forgot to mention his mage turned around and zapped one of my seekers. For me, for Dwarven Holds, was Deep Watch for everything I just mentioned. All right, any questions, comments, concerns, please feel free to post them. Again, Joel, thank you so much for that game. I just can't say enough about the guy. He was so even-tempered, even keel, and unfortunately, I was having such a hard time hearing him that I was having a misunderstanding with him. And again, he just took everything in stride. And again, can't say enough about the guy. So thank you so much. Until next time, happy gaming.